Okay. As we start part 2 of the footage, let's go and deliver these vaccines. That's how it looks. There's even 3D stuff in here. Fancy. Sky Park. How nice the thing is. You can have it like 2D, north up, or you can have it facing however the plane is facing. So you can have like a 3D map there. It's getting unloaded now. Let's open the canopy. Unload the stuff. And then we can look for another job. Takes us more to the south and southwest probably. There we go. 1293, that's not bad at all. Nice. Good. Go look for another job. I think we can string together different jobs here. So if we go for remove that and then search. Require ILS on arrival. I do want an ILS. So let's see if we can find something that starts from here. So we don't have to go elsewhere. There is one. That guy right there I think is perfect. 300 miles from Sweden to Germany. Doesn't look half bad. Sweden, Göteborg. Lit. There should be an ILS here, I believe. Let's have a look. Echo Delta, Whiskey Delta. Remove that. Delta, Whiskey Delta. Maybe you should have shut off the engine first, huh? We can go that way. Oh yeah, we can like skirt through the coast here, then pass through the bridge, right? Past Denmark, and then going to Germany. You can see if you'll have enough time for that. Yeah, maybe, and then we can fly high, see how the trees look from above. We can go straight up. That's a possibility. Okay, but this doesn't look like it has an ILS either. I thought I chose something that has an ILS. Season spawn is looking nice. Looks very realistic. Some minor issues with the pop-ins, like how the ground colors. Sometimes it's still popping in, but it's minimal. So far so good. I did say ILS required, right? ILS required. Maybe it doesn't recognize that. Let's see how live weather looks in here. Maybe we can go live weather. Oh, that doesn't look half bad. I actually like that more. Yeah. Look at this guy. Let's close the canopy here. A bit softer sounds. Good. Yeah, not the best weather at the moment, but let's see. Okay. Where else can we go? If I remove that, can you give me results? So I'll have to remove the ILS. Okay, now it's working, I think. There, okay, now it's finding that. Yeah, it's not many options, but I think we can go with that. That's the only option we have if you want to stay with Sky Park. This one. Alright. Starting here, picking up these devices. Okay, let's see. Let's try that. Load the stuff up. This is how that looks. Let's try and fly. Can you fly IFR here? No, but you'll have to go back to the main menu, set up the flight plan there, and then set it up here. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's just fly without ATC at the moment. Okay. What is that guy doing? He's been circling around all throughout. Okay, let's get some fuel again. Maybe max it up. I think we'll need it. Looking good. Right. Now what is the... Set this one to QFE. So just setting this to 0. Something like that. And this one as well. If possible, I'd like one of them having the QNH. Maybe we'll try that out later. Good. Okay. Nice. So let's get back to these things. Make sure we're not forgetting anything. These guys. Alright. Yeah, taxi area is clear except for that guy. Let's release the parking brakes. Let's go ahead and move to the runway. Trims, let's set that to neutral. Yes, we did that already for this guy, right? Yeah. Pitot heat, turn that on. Anti-skid. Anti-collision lights. Fuel gauge looks good. Oxygen still more than 3/4. We're good. Landing lights, let's turn on. No more warnings. Good. Taking off from runway 19er. Maybe we can contact them around here. No, there's nothing left because they're expecting they think that we've finished the flight already. And we haven't told them that we want one more. We're going to do another one. Okay. Actually, 1 second. Should actually head this way, right? For runway 19er. How are the winds? 166 at 2 knots. Okay, good. Pretty calm winds. It's almost a straight flight here. After we take off from runway 19, it's just 200 degrees on the course, on the track. That should take us directly to the next airport. Oh my goodness, look at those clouds. Let's see if we can spot the autumn trees from above, from way above. I think that was one of Barry's questions. But actually here, the weather actually lends pretty well to the autumn vibes, huh? Bit foggy, and then you can see some of the trees getting their yellowish orangish leaves down there. Quite nice. Runway 19. Okay, go with this. We need to back taxi. Let's, to be on the safe side. King, good. There. Flaps, that's the one I missed. Flap should be in the middle position. Let's go through the checklist again. Did I miss that? Yes, I did. So trims are neutral. Veto heat. On, anti-skid. Fuel. Flap, mid. There we go. Landing lights, anti-collision lights. No warnings. Takeoff briefing. Looks good. Alright. Okay. That's more like it. And then maybe we can do we can try some basic aerobatics when we get on the air. I'm scared. We'll see. Let's go and reset this as well. Had a very nice flight a while ago. Didn't even go beyond 4 Gs. I think 2 Gs was our maximum. There it is. Let me do a rolling start here. That should work. Observe the temperature, the RPM. With the finicky rudder. There we go. Pull it up. Off we go. Bye. Just go and turn off the radios. Otherwise they'll be bugging us out all throughout. Look at that, guys. That is a beauty. Plug this in 200 and face that way. Look at that view. I think we should be climbing at, there's a specific speed which we should be climbing. Did I not raise my flaps nor gear? I didn't, did I? My bad. There we go, now we're climbing. Doesn't it say here? I think around 350 knots. Right now we are climbing like 6,000 feet per minute. Goodness. That's how it looks from below. Let's see. Yeah, autumn colors are still well visible enough. That's the beauty about live weather. Good. This looks like a nice speed, nice altitude to stay at. 11,000. Right below that cloud layer right there. Yeah, let's stay here. I think this is nice. And also now we can go and can keep full throttle and the engine isn't getting hot. The lower temps really help. I'm observing it very well though, because the temps are starting to climb bit by bit. I think I'll have to pull back on the throttle in a bit. 0.8 Mach? What's the top speed for this guy? They did mention around 545 knots, right? At 11,000 feet. There's 500 knots. Goodness. Never flown this fast before. Okay, let's pull back on the throttle. It's getting too hot. Level out at 11,000 feet. And just enjoy our time here in between cloud layers. There should be land up ahead, where we should see some more of the autumn vibes from above this time. Interestingly enough, I haven't tried using the autopilot yet, because I do need all of that hand flying experience for now. Be more familiar with the plane. Right now, it is so finicky. Goodness. Let's get some lights in here. Help with the glare. There we go. Okay, so now what I want to do is actually level out. Come on. Level out, level out. There you go. And now trim it. Just one tick at a time. Still not quite there, but getting there. There we go. Ah, finally it's trimmed. Ah, close enough. Maybe one notch. There you go. It is possible to trim this plane, my goodness. I just have to get used to it. Can be quite sensitive at times. There you go. Let's have a look outside. Turn on the drone here. Still have our lights on. Okay. Wow. Yes. Something you don't see every day. And those sounds here from behind, huh? Goodness. It's pretty intense. Let's get some close-ups. Looks so cool. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm happy with those photos for now. Where are we at? Okay. Still around 11,000 feet. I like it. 500 knots, 11,000 feet. With minimal controls needed. 0.9 Mach. 0.9 Mach here. Wowzers. And there's land. Cool. How's our fuel situation? Fuel is looking good. Oxygen's looking good. Let's see if we can tune into some stuff here. Some VORs maybe on the way. Let me see if there's anything in the vicinity. Let's reset that for a bit. Oh, look at that. That's the problem here. That's the pop-in thing with the terrain mapping, you see. So that's the default color. And then as you get closer, the terrain mask starts getting rendered. So you see the ground starting to get darker, right? More brownish. That's the terrain mask for fall. That's one of the disadvantages of this terrain mask. So that's still in beta. I think he's still tweaking how that works to minimize the pop-ins. But yeah, that's one downside. I guess that can be alleviated if you increase the LOD to 400. That might help. But yeah, right now it's still an issue if you're looking close enough. It's pretty good, stable. Temperatures at 550 degrees. I think that's okay. Right, let's see. 115.5 would be the closest VOR I can see. Let's go to the TACAN thing again. Communications. TACAN. Okay. Wait. Descending. 115.5 102 channel X. Okay, let's do that. So 102 channel X. Do we have it? No, not yet. Okay, maybe we're still too far from it. And what I'm trying to tune into is this guy right here. Right there. This one. What's the place? Odin. Oh, Odin. Interesting. And that's where we are at the moment. So we are 50 miles away. We should be tuning it by now. Do I have the right thing? 102 channel X. Yes. 115.5. Okay, maybe later it will come up. But yeah, when you get closer to the land, no more pop-ins, and it looks properly autumn now, right? Very nice. Yeah, you do have those like tiles like that one. Not too shabby. But yeah, it's a nice addition if you want variety. Especially you want that feeling that when you're traveling somewhere, that the terrain is really changing. Here, it does do that now, depending on the seasons. And if you go to areas where there are, when it's a tropical country, then everything will always be green. But it will have custom trees. I think in some areas he even added cliffs. Not sure if that's part of this mod. But something like 3D trees. I think this is something. Let me show you this one. 3D trees GPS locations. So there are these kinds of trees that he added. I don't even know what these are. Well, the bamboo trees. Yes, I know. Yeah, baobab, bamboo, dragon blood, Italian cypress, plumeria, red maple, Joshua trees. And here you can actually see, you can go to those GPS coordinates so you can check out what they look like in the sim. Yeah, different places in China, California, Yosemite, Norway. So that's like a different thing from the normal trees, right? The fall colors, the autumn colors, these ones are actually 3D trees, different kinds of trees altogether. Quite nice. So yeah, you do see how they look from above, but it's not that significant, it's not that different, right? I think it really pays off, these trees, when you start looking at them from below, from lower altitudes. I think we could probably go through, stay here at around 10,000 feet for now, 11,000, and then when we get to Germany, let's go lower so we can explore the landscape from a closer perspective. Let's try some of that smoke stuff again. Red this time. Maybe not so apt for this kind of plane. This is more for air shows, right? Maybe white would be more natural. Would look like contrails. Quite nice. There are some weapon systems as well. I'm not sure if you can actually fire them, but I've never been interested with the actual weapons. It's more like the flying of the plane, but not the weapons part of it. So maybe we'll get on that later on, but for now, I'm happy enough just flying it, being able to fly it and land it in one piece, one step at a time. Goodness, this guy is fast. So 500 knots, that's the indicated airspeed, but what's our ground speed? Ground speed is 569. I'm looking at it. 569, what are the winds like? Minimal winds, okay. I see. Okay, and with this now, we have mostly on the ground. This is Germany already, I believe. 1 second. Is it? No, I think this is still Denmark. 1 sec, let me go out. I think this is Odense. But we should be able to explore more here from below. So let's start descending. Getting a closer peek at those trees. Has anyone tried the LOD 400 setting yet? How's it treating your performance, guys? I think I'm still at 200 here. Pretty steep descent. Man, that's fast. Still can't find that VOR, interestingly enough. Maybe I plugged it in wrong. Lots of plains here, minimal trees, but yes, the masking takes into full effect on these sceneries, so it's not that green. We do get these stutters though, which I'm not sure where they're coming from, because that is intense, those stutters. There we go, stay at 2,000 feet. That's more like it. Trim a little. There we go. Yeah, and I guess it kind of makes sense. We are consuming a lot more fuel here the lower we are on the ground, the closer we are to the ground. When we get to the higher levels, it becomes more fuel efficient. So that's probably where the max range is coming from. If you go to the higher flight levels and then cruise there, get more bang for your buck in terms of the fuel usage. But then again, you're missing out on all the scenery from below, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Like, look how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness. Right? Shoot. Yeah. That's something that's hard to pass up. Getting a bit cloudy in here. Trying if we can avoid those clouds as much as possible. Actually quite nice. I thought I would be turning on autopilot as soon as I took off, but hand flying this, learning to hand fly this, just the way it should be flown anyway, it feels good. Hey Game Theorist! How's it going, man? Welcome back. Wanting to see the Four Seasons mod. Yeah. Yes, that's what got me into it as well. I saw his post in the Flight Simulator forums. I've been keeping track of it since it came out, and I was not that sold before. But with the constant updates and improvements, now I'm at the point where I really like it. And I went in and bought it finally. Just look at that. It really adds a lot. Good. Yeah. And yet the 3D trees we haven't explored yet. Maybe we can check that out. After we do this flight, we can pick one of those custom places, and then we can try and look for those 3D trees. Because that's also part of the package. So what I like about it is, even though you have to set it up manually in a way, you have to pick what seasons your sim has, it's very reflective of real life. Like, it's not going to be autumn everywhere. It depends where you are in the world. It's autumn in the northern hemisphere. In the ones near the equator, it's probably going to be the same, right? Those will most likely be tropical countries. And then in the southern hemisphere, it will be spring. So wherever you go, it will be accurate. I think the only thing missing is there aren't like multiple stages of autumn, because you can imagine this same place but different months, the trees would look very different, right? Some of them would be, at some point there would be all yellow, but in the beginning of autumn they would probably be green. Some parts only yellow, so that transition isn't there. So it's like only one snapshot of autumn, because you can imagine how much work it would take having different versions, right? Early autumn, mid-autumn, late autumn, all of those would have different shades, and all of them would have different regions. So it's going to be intense. We're getting close. We're in Germany now, I believe. Yes. Sky Park is very useful in this way, because we don't have VORs, which we can use for navigation. We get this 3D moving map right here. Let me show you what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. So very easy to just navigate using that. No instruments, just use the GPS. And you have some nice information in here. Altitude above ground, vertical speed, heading, course, ground speed. That's where I'm looking at. Quite nice. Very handy. Oh, there's a ship there. That's from the Global AI ship traffic, I believe. Makes the skies look a lot more alive. That's from me, guys. Don't worry, that's from me. The turning off controller sound. And this is what I like in particular, the fields. that have trees scattered around them. And I believe this is in the default as well. You don't need the 4 seasons for that. But the color is what really sells it to me. This gives you so much autumn feels. Feels so different from the usual weather that we get from the usual climate that we get from this sim. And I realized that's one argument for this mod, the 4 seasons mod, is that Microsoft might be implementing seasons on their own, right? That makes sense. So at some point this might not be relevant anymore. I guess the question is when that would be. I haven't really seen that in the roadmap. Maybe I haven't been looking that well, but yeah, it's not that big of a deal for me. I don't think I'd be willing to wait till that happens because they have plenty of other things they need to work on. They're doing some really good stuff on the simulation aspect, right? That's still plenty of work to be done. Replay functionality, multi-views, helicopters, all the other improvements on the physics, on the flight dynamics. So when seasons will come is still a big question mark for now. And we have something right in front of us that we can get, which is very good. That's why I went ahead and bought it already. Now I'm looking at the trees here. They are brown, I think. Yes, starting to turn yellow. In the distance, they all look green, but as you get closer, you start getting their colors in. Let's try to go a bit closer, maybe 1,000 feet. Let's see how that looks like. We're burning fuel here. Looking pretty close on the fuel, but it's going to be worth it for the sightseeing. But goodness, right? This sim, just exploring the entire world without any other plugins needed. Just loads in everything. All the road networks, all the cities. Granted, it's not one-to-one, but still, this amazes me. And flying this kind of plane that gets you from point A to point B much faster than your usual planes, your usual GA planes, you get to see that a lot more. That entire world at your fingertips feeling. It's quite nice. Hey Blazy, sorry, just saw that now. Pretty new truck sim player, hey. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have much experience with steering wheels. I only tried one. I have the G27, so I can recommend that. It's a bit pricey now, but yes, the G29 is a great successor to it. So if that's within your budget, then that's great. But I would recommend checking with other folks too. Checking in the SCS forums maybe, because there are many people who also recommend Thrustmaster wheels. And I don't have experience with those. I've heard good things about them from users, but I haven't tried it myself. So there might be more to the market than just the Logitech wheels, which if you're going to spend, it's quite expensive, right? So maybe it's worth checking out other options as well. And look at those huge stutters, my goodness. I think that's when the airports load in. A 1,000 feet and going at 450 knots or 70 knots ground speed, 1,000 feet above ground. My goodness. Sure thing, man. Great to hear that. Yes, I'm loving the ONOP series as well. Looking forward to more episodes like that. I would love something like that for Flight Sim, but I have not been able to think of a series for it. The World Tour series I would love to continue in Flight Sim, but I'm waiting for the Turbo Arrow update from Just Flight to fix the bugs caused by Sim Update 6. And then we'll continue. Would be nice to have some mountains, but maybe I didn't pick the right spot here, huh? We could go more south, get us to Austria, right? Switzerland. That would give us very nice autumn vibes. Maybe we can do that for the next part. We do have some time still. Let's continue that way and see how the landscape transitions. Because yeah, here you can still see the trees, but they're not as yellowish anymore. And here also, it looks like we don't have the mask here. This might be how it looks when there's not a mask. So you can see the trees are brown, but the fields are green. So it's not that perfect, right? Maybe this area doesn't have the mask yet. But yeah, you can compare that with that one at the back, where it's a bit more brown. So I'm really liking this new terrain masking feature with the recent update from the Seasons mod. Makes things a lot more realistic. Yeah, I wonder why this area doesn't have it. It should be within it, I think, if I read it correctly. ETS2 in most of the DLC when it was on sale. Oh yeah, Halloween sale, right? Yeah, perfect time to buy stuff. Yeah, ATS and ETS2. First glance, they look very close together. They look very similar, but actually they're not. It's quite interesting. The differences, the small differences you can notice. Probably take runway 16 here. Let's get a bit of altitude. We are 50 miles away and starting to run low on fuel. Stay at 2,000 feet probably. There you go. Very, very sensitive. That's more like it. Permit a little. There you go. 2,000 feet-ish. Okay, now here we have the mask again. Can you see the difference, guys? Can you notice the difference? How green it was back there versus here where everything is brown and it feels more autumn. Yeah, very nice. Maybe that's a part he missed. Maybe that's like a bug fix. Maybe that requires a bug fix. Cool. 40 miles. Start lining up for runway 16 here. Let me plug this in just so I have a bit of guidance. 160 more or less. Let me see, the runway is 152 actually, magnetic heading. So 152. Okay. No VOR, no anything. We should see a river. Weser River? The airport is just beyond that. Might be up ahead, maybe that one. Yeah, this plane is perfect for visual flights, huh? Because the canopy is amazing. Get to see so much stuff. Okay, start slowing down, maybe. I love how the engine just purrs differently depending on the power you put in. It's so dynamic. Now the weather doesn't look the best up ahead. Looks like some pretty low clouds in there. I have to be careful here. Driving with a keyboard. Yes, a wheel would be great. A controller would be a nice next step if while you're deciding or saving up for a wheel. A controller is also great. It's not as good as a wheel, but it's much better than the keyboard and much cheaper than a wheel. Head movement is track IR. There should be a link in the video description of the videos in YouTube. There should also be a link in the panel below here if you're seeing something. There should be a panel with my gear in there, and then track IR should be one of them. Highly recommend it for simulators, flight sim, truck sim, even train sim supports it now. Look at these clouds, guys. Goodness. Live weather for the win. Sure thing. Okay, how do we land here? If it's this bad, we don't have ILS. We'll see. Maybe the weather thins out. The clouds thin out near the airport. Can't even see the river anymore. Okay, we've slowed down properly. That's good. Looking good right there, just applying a bit of power. Keeping level here. A bit slow. There we go. Okay, I'm seeing the ground at least, that's a good sign. There's the river, I think. Man, imagine this in VR. This would be pretty cool, huh? Right. Start slowing it down. Turn on the landing lights. Pull back on the throttle. Level out here. Start bleeding off that airspeed. Let's see if I can trim better this time. Okay, there it is. Landing gear going down. Flaps going to mid. Getting a bit more power. Good. Maybe we can squeeze in between the clouds there. If we're lucky. Starting to trim up bit by bit. There's the river. Undoubtedly, that's the river I'm looking for. Very nice. We can squeeze in right in between these clouds, I think. Beautiful. Goodness. Just in time because we're almost out of fuel here. Hey Wade. Thanks for joining. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator. you see something from there? Not really. Not the best weather at this airport right now. Unfortunately, it didn't have a weather radar, any kind of weather system, so we couldn't check the weather at the airport itself. Ay ay ay, this is going to be tricky. I think it might have an RNAV approach. This plane doesn't support that though. Oh my goodness, look at that. Not the best. Shouldn't be doing this. Nope. Don't think we're landing here. Well, we'll see. Maybe there are approach lights, hopefully. How are we doing, Wade? Okay, 5 miles. And almost seeing nothing in front. Goodness. This is going to be something that's great for instrument approaches, but not for this flying blind. Too low. Okay, clouds starting to thin out. Just a bit. Runway should be up ahead. Do I see anything? There it is, there it is. There it is. My goodness, that was scary. Okay, we're not done yet though. Not done yet. So you have to trim it. Trim it, trim it, trim it, trim it, trim it. Try to trim it fully. Doesn't want to go. Oh, there it is. There it is. Very finicky. Love the variety of trees. The colors I'm seeing. What is that changing terrain though? It's interesting. That might be from the masking, huh? Oh, that's way too late. There you go. That's okay. That's okay. Are you there yet? Where's the turn off? I think we have to make a... Ah, yes, we have to back taxi. Because the ramp is on the other side. Yes, I'm thankful enough we landed. Looking good. Yeah, plenty of things to learn with this plane. It feels very different from your typical GA plane. The way it handles, especially the way it changes the, how do you say, the feeling when you don't have flaps versus when you have flaps and you're configured for landing. It feels like a different plane altogether. It's like it transforms into something completely different. Something I have to get used to still. Low fuel, yes, just in time, we're almost here. Don't worry, don't worry. That's the fuel warning right there. Good. Are we turning off here? Not that one, the next one, really at the beginning of the runway. Yeah, I think the terrain masking could still do a bit of improvement. Like you could see how it's changing right there. That might be the terrain masking. It's still in beta. So hopefully in the coming weeks, coming months, the developer can improve that. But that's what I like about this developer. He is constantly at work. He's been working at this since the beginnings of the sim. And we've gotten so many updates from him since. So I'm confident that he will be working hard to find the correct balance for giving the perfect autumn vibes. Why is this parking lot also the parking lot for the planes and the cars? Interesting. Okay. Looking good. Parking brake. Let's go and shut things down. How do we do that? Let's go in through the checklist. Right. Okay, P2 heat is off. Anti-skid is off. Good. Pressures are good. Flaps are up. Landing light is off. Anti-collision lights, turn them off. Radios we can turn off as well. And then this one, everything off. Good. With that, we can turn off the engine start switch, the fuel pumps, the throttles can go, and that marks the main menu right there. Let's continue though, because we haven't really delivered the job right yet. So let's continue with that. Conditioning is off. We can open the canopy. Love that sound. Peacock can go off. Radios, nav lights. Cockpit lights. Can go and set the chocks. That will allow us to remove the parking brake. And then we can turn off the batteries and the oxygen as well. There we go. And that's it. We've shut it down properly. And now we can deliver the job. Right? So let them unload the stuff. And let's look at this from outside. Not too shabby. I'll take it. Tune in for a full stream Wednesday and Thursday. I see. No worries, man. Glad you could drop by. And yes, you can catch up on the VODs because I post these on YouTube. And we can catch up there. Thanks. Alright, looking good. Money. More XP as well. How are we doing right now in terms of the progress? Yeah, the thing that's missing from Sky Park is like where do you use your money? Right now they're adding some stuff here, like when you're loading some stuff, you need to hire some people to load the cargo for you, so that takes an amount off your balance. When you're going to other places and you're not stringing jobs together, you know, when you have to go somewhere, you have to fly there, so that it takes from the bank. But I think they're still working on the actual mechanics. What else you can do? But for now, it's a good excuse to find places to travel to, right? It's a great way to fly, so you can pick stuff where you want, like so. So you can see the amount there, $50, $100. If you have to travel, for example, we want to start from this airport, we have to travel there. That will cost us more, around $100 to travel that way. So there's a bit of cost, and the farther you go, the more expensive it gets. Like if you want to get your next job from the US, it's going to be $1,000 just to get there, which kind of makes sense, right? From the flight tickets and whatnot. So it's quite real that way. Cool. Now I wanted to try and fly over the Alps, but I think we'll have to postpone that for the next stream because I'm looking at the time. It's a bit awkward where we ended, a bit like middle of nowhere. So I think I'll just end the stream here, guys, and we'll catch up next week, okay? But thank you for hanging out. Thanks for checking out this Seasons mod with me and flying the Hawk, getting more used to the Hawk with me. We'll do more next week. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day, everybody. Clumsy flying, indeed. And I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon and stay safe. Bye-bye.